Hello, and welcome to Stories from the View, a podcast from the Pleasant View Senior Center in East Longmeadow, Massachusetts. On this podcast, we invite interesting people to tell us their stories about their lives and events and their jobs. And in this case, we are broadcasting from the MCOA conference in Danvers, Massachusetts. So today's guest is Tara Hammes. She is Manager of Healthy Aging and Nutrition for the MCOA. And here is your host, Mary Jenowin Kaplan.
Thank you, Eric. It is so exciting to be doing our first podcast on location. And I'm so delighted to greet Tara, who is our guest today. Now, Tara is a nutritionist, and she's going to talk about her path in life. And so, Tara, I will throw this question to you. As a small child, when you were having a tea party with your stuffed animals, were you cutting up carrot sticks and celery to feed them early on? Were you ahead of your time? Tell us about your path to nutrition.
There was no tea party, Mary. I will tell you that. I liked my stuffed animals, but not the dolls. I became interested in nutrition my second semester, senior year of college, where I became vegetarian. I initially went to school for French and business, and then switched to communications, concentrating in film and public relations. And then January of whatever year that was, I said, oh, shoot, I should have gone to school for nutrition. And I couldn't shake it. And about a year and a half later, I decided to go back to school for a nutrition degree. And it was all because I became interested in vegetarianism.
A life change based on a discovery.
Yes.
So tell us, how did that go? Was that your bachelor's, a master's? Are you still a vegetarian?
I am still a vegetarian, and I remember the aha moment where it actually occurred, because I was home for winter break and I was eating a cheeseburger, and I just looked at it, and I remember being like 8 years old and having steak and asking, what is this on my plate? And I'm like, is that blood? And my parents were like, yes. And I was horrified. But I realized, the change came because I felt such compassion for animals. And I decided when I go back to college, I'm going to try being a vegetarian. And what I found was I didn't miss it. So it was easy for me. And the more I learned about nutrition, the more interested I became. And when I went back for nutrition, I decided that I was going to be a lactation consultant.
Which is what?
Helping women breastfeed. And
I did not have children. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
So, what I found was, as I'm moving through the nutrition studies, I ended up in this one course, and there was a guest lecturer in, and she was talking about food insecurity and these programs that helped people who didn't have enough money to buy food to eat well. And that was another light bulb moment for me. And I realized no more lactation consulting, no more like child nutrition. I want to help the community. And then that led me to a part-time position with the New York State Department of Health. And then I started to idolize one of my professors, and I wanted to be just like her. And then I became a little bit miserable because I was trying to put that square peg in the round hole, because, Kate is Kate and Tara is Tara, and I needed to find my own path in nutrition. And once I did that, I became much more comfortable in which pieces of nutrition I wanted to study and which conversations I wanted to have with people. And I think that has made me a better dietitian.
And what did that path look like?
Oh my goodness.
Give us, for instance.
Oh my goodness. So I was explaining, like many of the listeners, we go down one path and we realize, nope, I don't want to study French. No, I don't want to study business. No, I don't want to be a spin doctor in a public relations agency. But with each of those experiences, I gained some skills and knowledge and made connections. And with each of those, I added those to my toolbox of being a better communicator, a better learner, a better listener, a funnier person, I like to think. And it made me more authentic. And that's one of the things that I encourage people is just, as long as it's safe and you're listening to your gut, like do all of the things. Have all of the experiences. And whether that is like getting deeper into nutrition at whatever age you are, because it's never too late to move that needle, or to just continue to learn and being a stronger and kinder human, then follow that. I feel like I should hug everyone right now.
So, food insecurity, how has all this led to, where has this led you?
So my role right now as the Healthy Aging and Nutrition Manager at the Massachusetts Council on Aging was a new position to the agency, and it was to help decrease older adult malnutrition in the Commonwealth. And so I've been in this role for 3.5 years, and I love it. I think everyone deserves to eat well, but that doesn't mean I'm trying to turn everyone into a vegetarian, shopping at the priciest supermarket in town. What I want folks to do is look at what you can afford, what's available, what type of cooking equipment you have, what your abilities are. Like, you might not have the grip strength to do a lot of chopping. I want people to be okay with buying off private labels, frozen food. You don't have to buy fresh all of the time. And just figuring out if I'm giving a presentation, and if I can, I'll share one piece,
That's why you're here, my friend.
So about 10 years ago, I was giving a nutrition presentation to a group that did not want any nutrition information. They wanted to have their lunch and be left alone. And I remember a gentleman in the back sat back, gave me the scowl, crossed his arms, and said, "I'm 87 years old. I got this far without you. Why do I need to listen to you now?" And I was taken aback, and I was a little bit hurt, but then I realized, I said, "You don't. I'm here to give you the information. I encourage you to take any bits and pieces of it and see if it fits into your lifestyle. And if it does, that's great. If it doesn't, that's okay. Thank you for listening. I'll be on my way." And that philosophy, I think, has helped me make better connections with people and realize that I already realized it, but it confirms that there's more than one way to do things. And they can be different and still be valuable, not have one be better than another.
What a wonderful philosophy in this day and age when some people think it's got to be my way. Excellent. So is food insecurity a problem?
It is such a huge problem. It's getting worse, obviously, since the pandemic. I mean, how many folks in this audience, or anyone live or just listening to the podcast, have not seen prices go up in food, in gas, and et cetera? So imagine being on a fixed income, struggling with your housing bills, and then also your electric and your prescription medications. Food is usually the last place that we spend a lot of money on. And as we get older and have more of a limited income, it gets even that more challenging. So there's a number of statistics that are out there. I think right now in Massachusetts, 1 in 3 people are nutrition insecure or food insecure. And it's a horrible, horrible number. Like, we should not be experiencing that. Having the nutrition insecurity contributes to poor health outcomes and malnutrition. And it's very sad.
That is.
That's my understatement. It's very sad.
Mm-hmm. Well, food is pretty basic. We should all have food. Now, you talked about bits and pieces to make incremental changes, perhaps. So, I'm an older person. Mm-hmm. Tell me, what little tidbits that might be palatable for someone who enjoys.
I love a good food pun, Mary.
A good piece of chocolate.
All right, now I have 2 little tips for you.
Okay, this is our big wrap up, so.
I'll leave you with 2 pieces. One is that as we get older, we need more protein than we think we do. And how much protein do I need to have, Tara? Take your weight, divide it in half. Right? Everyone have that number?
It's a big
I
one.
want you to start with that number as your minimum grams of protein that you eat every day. My guess is that's a surprising number to many people. One way to make a dent in that number, and I know this is harder for folks who are lactose intolerant, but is to choose plain Greek yogurt. 1 cup of Greek yogurt, plain, has 20 grams of protein. And if you think it's not as sweet as you would like, add some frozen fruit to it. Add a little bit of honey to it. That's one thing. The other piece, if you want to have a little, you can put some chocolate chips in there if you want. Absolutely. Some,
Oh.
right? Yeah. And
Maybe
the
not.
darker the chocolate, the better. Around 70% cocoa and higher is beneficial for brain health. So you may eat the chocolate as well. I like to always say that if Cookie Monster were human, I would have married him in the 3rd grade. So I am the approachable, lighthearted dietitian looking out for your health.
Tara, thank you so much. I appreciate the tips. You've given me something to think about, and hopefully our listeners. And look forward to hearing from you in the future.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me, and good luck to everyone.
Okay, well, that wraps up another episode of Stories from the View. We'd like to thank Tara Hammes for being here today. The Stories from the View podcast is available on the LCAT 01028 channel on YouTube and on Spotify. If you have a story you'd like to share on the program, contact Pleasant View Senior Center Director Erin Kobler by stopping by the Pleasant View Senior Center, or you can call Erin 413-525-5436, extension 1401, or you can send Erin an email, erin.kobler@eastlongmeadowma.gov. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Stories from the View.